FDR to LBJ to Barack Obama, we'll look at the right's long-sordid history of attacking our greatest social programs. They were wrong then, and they're wrong now. We just talked about the right-wing reaction to health care and the health care ruling. But, folks, they've been attacking our great social program for decades. It began in 1935 when FDR signed the Social Security Act, giving millions of Americans retirement benefits. At the time, a Republican congressman said it would, quote, threaten the integrity of our institutions. Another GOP congressman said, quote, the lash of the dictator will be felt. And a GOP senator said, quote, it will go a long way toward destroying American initiative and courage. 30 years later, the GOP was singing the same tune when LBJ created Medicare and Medicaid to ensure the elderly and the poor. Ronald Reagan called the idea, you guessed it, socialism.
Behind it will come other federal programs that will invade every area of freedom as we have known it in this country, until one day, as Norman Thomas said, we will awake to find that we have socialism.
And LBJ's opponent in the 1964 election, Senator Barry Goldwater, thought Medicare would lead us down a slippery slope. He said, quote, having given our pensioners their medical care in kind, why not food baskets? Why not vacation resorts? Why not a ration of cigarettes for those who smoke? Folks, last time I checked, the government wasn't handing out cigarettes with Social Security checks. The fears were unfounded then, and they're unfounded now. Joining me now is Nancy Altman, co-director of the Social Security Works, an advocacy organization. She also is author of The Battle for Social Security. Thanks for being here, Nancy.
Thanks so much for having me.
Are Republicans crying wolf in terms of how these social programs would allegedly ruin America?
Absolutely. They are trying to scare the American people. That's what they were doing back in the 30s and the 60s and now. In fact, some of the attacks are the same. They called, back in the Republicans used to say that Social Security's reserves, which, by the way, are $2.7 trillion today, were IOUs. They said you'd pay and never see benefits. Some of those same attacks today. They said about Medicare, there'd be a bureaucrat between your doctor and the patient. That's what they said about the Affordable Care Act. The important message from yesterday's decision is that that is only a skirmish and a battle. We have to stay vigilant about all these programs, which are so important. Our Social Security system, our Medicare, and the Affordable Care Act.
And part of the vigilance is seeing how the debate is cast and what is discussed. You wrote in an op-ed piece in 2009 in the LA Times, in your article you say, then as now, opponents played the socialism card. Unlike today, however, the political rhetoric never gained traction in 1935. Though nearly every Republican in Congress was vehemently opposed to Social Security, Roosevelt prevented them from controlling the debate. How did we stop the control of the debate in 2012?
Well, part of what you're doing, I think, is part of that way. We really have a moment to reintroduce, I think, the Affordable Care Act to people. People already know about Social Security and Medicare, and they're not fighting it front on. But even as we speak, there are politicians in Washington who are talking about cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare. I think the president should be a strong champion of Social Security, of Medicare, and the Affordable Care Act. They all provide needed economic security to millions of American working families.
And Americans are strongly in favor of it. When polled, the question is raised, do you want to cut Social Security? Don't cut it, 76%. Don't cut Medicare, 80%. The public is with it. I think we've just got to put the facts out and keep bringing the goods and services to people in this country that need it, because Americans know that there's a need for this.
That's right. The president, I urge him to be a strong champion, and not just he is a strong champion, but speak the language. Explain that these are earned benefits. These are not, you know, the Republicans like to call Social Security an entitlement. It's not welfare. It is benefits that they've earned. And this program, if anything, should be expanded. It's very important. The American people, even the Tea Partiers, are closer to the traditional Democratic position than the Republicans, and the Democrats should make use of that.
Nancy Altman, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Up next, President Obama's emotional story about a cancer survivor whose letter inspired him in his fight for health reform. The woman who sent it is with us tonight. We'll be right back.